Dillian Whyte loves beef, whether it's beef in real life with other fighters, having a roll around at a press conference, flipping tables and swinging blows, whether it's beef on social media. He just seems to love beef because he's always in beef. This guy stays in beef. And as we see here, Dillian Whyte was having a go at Anthony Joshua, having a little cheeky dig at Joshua over this Khan/Khan's wife situation. And Dereck Chisora chimed in and said what he said about Dillian Whyte and Dillian Whyte's wife. I mean, it's not exactly classy here, people. It's very WWE. WWE gets trashy. It gets trashy. And guys like Dereck Chisora are trying to bring that trashy WWE style stuff to real life. This ain't acting. This is real stuff. It is what it is. Will these two guys fight? I don't know. Dillian Whyte has options. This is one thing he said in his recent IFL interview. He literally does have options. Dereck Chisora don't have options. Dereck Chisora don't have a promoter. I'm not sure if he's still managed by Steve Goodwin, but in terms of his promotional side, what options has he got? I haven't heard about any options. Dillian Whyte's got a lot of options. Eddie Hearn has reeled off a list of names in his recent IFL interview of guys that Dillian Whyte could be fighting later on in the year after his little tune-up that he has later on this month. So, yeah, he's got options. Where's Dereck Chisora going to go? I think it's going to be a case of, will Dereck Chisora lower his expectations in terms of what he wants to get paid in order to get the Dillian Whyte fight on? Because who else is going to give Dereck Chisora an opportunity? Dillian Whyte is the biggest name right now in heavyweight boxing who's willing to give Chisora an opportunity if Chisora lowers his expectation in terms of money. Dillian Whyte's willing to do it. He said many times, if it makes sense financially, we'll do it. Also, one of the issues is that, this is according to Eddie Hearn, he said both Dillian Whyte and Dereck Chisora want a lot of money for the fight. Not just Dillian, also Dereck. They both want a lot. And the only way to actually give them that type of money, to pay them those type of purses, is if they make the fight pay-per-view. But Eddie Hearn does not believe that Whyte Chisora 2 is a standalone pay-per-view. He believes you would have to put it maybe on a Joshua undercard, something like that. Standalone, he don't think it's pay-per-view. He said he'd just like to do it as a Saturday night fight. I'd like to see it like that because I think that my channel and YouTube channels like mine in general are a fairly good barometer of judging and gauging public opinion on any particular fight or any particular fighter. Yeah. And judging by the interest that I get on my channel about Dillian Whyte videos and, my Dillian Whyte videos and Chisora videos and stuff like that, compared to other fighters, Dillian Whyte gets a lot of interest from people generally. I would say more so than Chisora these days, but they're nowhere near on the level of the interest that an Anthony Joshua gets. I mean, that is just beyond anything that Dillian Whyte or Dereck Chisora have done on my channel in terms of views when I've done videos about them. The two biggest names on my channel in terms of getting views for my videos are Anthony Joshua and Chris Eubank Jr. Those are the two biggest names right now in British boxing in terms of, the views I get from my videos. Whyte and Chisora, they're not on that level. They're just not yet. So I personally believe that Eddie Hearn is correct when he says this is not a pay-per-view standalone. This is something for a Saturday night fight night. And I'd like to see it because it would get a lot of exposure, the fight not being behind a pay-per-view paywall. I mean, you already have to pay for Sky, but it wouldn't be pay-per-view on top of that. So I think that's the way to go to make this rematch happen. And if the rematch does happen, again, having watched the first fight again recently, I think Dillian Whyte will win the fight more clearly next time. That's what I believe. One of the reasons I believe it is because Dillian Whyte has been improving his conditioning. I believe he would have learned from the first fight. I believe that there was a lot of good work that Dillian Whyte did in the first fight, particularly on the inside with short punches, which a lot of people didn't see. And also, possibly the biggest reason why I think Dillian Whyte will win the second fight more decisively is because he's been in shape and Dereck Chisora hasn't been in shape. You look at how heavy Chisora looks right now. compared to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte looks in the best shape he's been in since he came back from his 2-year ban. Chisora looks very heavy to me. Well over 18 stone right now. And people are saying he looks sharp on the pads. Man, I've seen Chisora look a lot sharper on the pads than that. He's punching correctly these days, which is interesting. When he went with that other trainer, Gary Hines, I think he was called. Chisora used to call him Gary Anus. For some reason, I don't know. You know how strange Chisora is. When he went with that Gary Hines guy, that guy managed to get Chisora punching correctly. And he's brought that correct punching technique back over to Don Charles. Now he's with Don Charles again. So, yeah, Chisora may be punching more correctly on the pads, but I wasn't impressed by his recent pad work at all. I didn't think he looked especially fast or anything. I've seen him look better on the pads than that before. To me, he looked heavy, very, very heavy at the moment. Whereas Dillian Whyte looked light, sharp, you know, and as I say, the best shape that I've seen him in since his comeback from the 2-year ban. So, you know, that's my take on it, people. I think if it happens, Dillian Whyte is going to win more decisively next time. I'm not sure he's going to stop Chisora, probably not, unless he busts him up the way Tyson Fury did in a Fury rematch. He'll probably win on points, but just more decisively next time. That's what I feel, you know. I could be wrong. You know, first fight was very competitive. All the talk of a robbery, though, was silly. There was no robbery there. It was a close fight. All the people watching it said it was a close fight. All the pundits and the other fighters who were ringside said it was very close. A close fight can't be a robbery. You know, it was a split decision. A split decision, close fight, that's no robbery. So anyway, let me know what you feel in the comment section below. Will this fight happen? Would you like to see it happen? Are these two guys crossing the line in terms of the stuff they're talking about? You know, talking about each other's wives and this, that, and the other. It is what it is. Because Dillian Whyte was talking about Chisora's wife or his girlfriend or whatever in this recent IFL interview. It's basically no holds barred when it comes to these two in terms of what they're willing to say about each other. These guys will say anything. These two are made for each other, really, in terms of being rivals. Because they're just, both of them love talking smack. They're both aggressive guys. They both love confrontation. Oh, man. Anyway, let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out.